I want to discuss something that wasn't written about in my book, Falling Sky. There's my original book cover and my book. And this event happens very shortly after, well, Chapter 9, Contact. As you see in this book, it's kind of reverse writing because it's up against the camera. But that took place in spring. Contact took place in spring of 1983, okay? And it was early spring, and then we're talking about April, that month, okay? Um, and that's when the orb showed up in the field, and I was roused to them out of sleep, and the three beings, the two little grays and the humanoid appeared before that orb, and then I went inside, and they did procedures on me. They activated my pineal gland, and they put there's a hole in the center of my forehead, if you can see it right there in the center in front of my finger there. That hole's been there since they did that with a long syringe into my forehead, activating my pineal gland into the center of my, right above my brainstem. And they also put a wedge-shaped device into my sinus cavity, which showed up in x-rays. After those procedures, okay, and then the following, and I thought they were going to keep me, but they sent me back. Anyways, that's written about in the book, and I have other episodes regarding that incident. But I want to get on to something different because, well, if you remember right, in the book, if you read the book, in that morning after Contact, my wife and I, my wife didn't want to hear about anything that was going on. She was really she really didn't believe any of this stuff about aliens. She's a strong Catholic. She stated on camera herself, and she basically thought I was cracking up and losing my mind. So that led me to feel, well, maybe I am. Maybe there's just something really wrong with me, and I really am losing my mind. Well, what I did, the way I combated it, is I started going out into the yard at nighttime, just exploring the cosmos, looking up at it, and just really studying it, and trying to figure out what's actually going on. Well, this event that I'm going to speak of also took place right after Contact, and this was late spring, which would be early June, that this happened. It was a beautiful night out, and I was out there, and I was seeing, while I was studying the skies, I was seeing orbs and all kinds of things just appearing. I was like, isn't anybody else seeing this stuff? I guess not. But anyway, one night I'm out there, and this is early June, and same year, and I'm looking at my, I'm going to bring it to another screen here so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, this is I'm standing in my yard, and these trees, these Monterey pine trees, represent where my brother's house is or was, right behind our house, which I spoke of in a book too. And what I saw, and it just appeared a little to the north, and it just appeared in the sky, was it was a cigar-shaped craft like this, okay, and it was. The whole bottom of it was orange, glowing orange, and was transparent, almost like a tour bus or some sort of, I don't know. That's the best way I could describe it. It was filled with passengers, and you can see. I'm going to bring this up a little larger, so hopefully you can see what I'm talking about here. If I can get my mouse to hover over there. There we go. Come on up a little bit. And it's not cooperating right. There it goes. Okay, if you look in there now, you'll see what appears to be seats, and that's what I saw, were seats, like on a tour bus, and these beings were sitting in these seats, and they were in rows, just like you would be on a tour bus, okay? And it filled the whole length of this craft. It was moving very slowly, too, by the way. When it appeared, it moved very slowly, and it just crawled right above me, and it's like it was studying me, and I was studying it. And I noticed in the back it looked like there was a little riser area there, and it looked like little beings, okay? And I don't know. The only thing I could liken them to is maybe children or small aliens or something about that. But anyway, this thing just goes floating by, and it just vanishes out of the sky. And I'm wondering, what the hell? What's going on here? But I did this rendition to try to get the picture of what I was seeing out there. So this ranch that we lived on was a very special place, okay? We had livestock there. We had sheep. We had pigs. We had horses. We had all kinds of livestock out there, okay? And this is going to be relevant because this is what I'm going to speak of is relevant because this is a lot of activity that's happening out of that property. Okay, we've got voices in the night when Susie goes to the barn. We've got contact where I get taken in. We've got the triangle craft where I get taken in again before work. We've got this thing appearing in the into the skies, and it seems to be a mecca in that particular location. And anyway, one of the sheep had given birth in the early winter of that year. Okay, it was like the year before, preceding year before, and it was like stormy weather. It was like November or whatever it was, and one of the sheep grew up and it was a drop calf, and my nephew basically bottle fed it, and the family bottle fed this thing, and it slept with him, and it turned like almost a dog. It'd come running for you and want to see you, and it saw you, and was a really cool little sheep. Well, one day I went out there, and it was missing one of its horns, okay, on the side, completely cut off. It's like it's just been sheared off. And none of us could figure out how that would happen, okay? But it was gone, and with that, the whole little sheep's attitude completely changed. It turned into a mean animal, and it would charge people and wanted to hurt them. And remember, he was bottle fed, and I've never had this happen before. So these beings, this is a mecca, okay, where we live. There was livestock. We had things happening to livestock. There's also protein there. We had all kinds of fruit trees on the property. And not only that, there's also, we're in Sonoma County, okay? It's grapes, and there's a lot of grapes, glucose, proteins from animals, livestock. So this is a mecca, and this is one of the reasons why they're there. Besides, I am an alien-human hybrid, and I am linked to them, and that's what their curiosity is to me. And this is why a tour bus like I'm speaking of would be in the sky like this, going by, looking at me like, oh, this is one of our people, okay? And that's basically the only thing I can attribute it to is that, because and then as soon as it went by me, it just vanished out of the sky as quickly as it came, and it left as quickly as it came. So I wanted to share this incident with people because it's something I didn't put in my book. I've shared it on Facebook. I have put the picture that we're looking at out there on Facebook before, and I don't think people understand what the context is of this image. But that's what it was about, is this cigar-shaped craft. And by the way, this particular cigar-shaped craft, this is the same thing that's been written about in scriptures that the people followed through the desert, and it led them in circles, and it was a pillar of fire at night and a cloud during the day, and they reckoned it to the shape of, well, a tube, a cylindrical tube. That's what scriptures, and this is the same thing. We've got a cylindrical tube, and it's transparent, and it does light up. It lights up at night, and that's what it was. This is all lit up down at the bottom, like they're on a sightseeing tour. And who knows, that could have been a very prophetic time for them to see that too back then, when these prophets were being led through the desert, and they were watching them. And this thing was supposed to be guiding them, but actually was leading them in circles. So I don't know. But anyway, I want to share this, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good night.